Greetings, hi, and hello. Wednesday evening. We have been snowed upon here in central Illinois, and so we are actually not having our evening service tonight because it's dark, it's windy, and there's snow still falling on the roads. So, anyway. But we are continuing on in our looking through the Psalms. And tonight we find ourselves in Psalm 119, and we're in the 20th of 22 sections, coming right down to the end. So tomorrow and Friday we will, by the Lord's will and direction, finish up Psalm 119. And I wanted to ask you one more time. We have asked, we're going to do a hymn sing-along on Saturday night. We're going to do 4 hymns. And we've asked for your request. We're going to do What a Friend We Have in Jesus, Victory in Jesus, and Oh Sacred Head Once Wounded. Those 3 have been requested so far. So we've got one more left as a request. So anyone who wants to request a song, just put it in the comments section, and that will be our 4th song. So I want to say this correctly. This is the title of the devotion we're looking at tonight from these verses. I call it Getting Good Lemonade from Your Lemons. Now, I said that on the phone a little bit earlier, and my wife and the lady from our church on the phone thought I said getting good women from your lemons. And so I'm not weird. I don't know where that came from. But anyway, what I want to talk to you tonight is that old adage, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. And I want to talk about how we make the most of our trials by making good lemonade out of the lemons that we receive. And so here's what the psalmist does. You remember, this psalmist is going through a huge variety of trials, physical afflictions. 66 times, I believe it is, he mentions his physical afflictions in this psalm. The trials and oppressors, people who are working against him, they're all through this psalm as well. And so he turns to the Lord and to his word. And so in this part of the psalm, he's particularly emphasizing how we can get good lemonade out from our lemons. So here's the first thing you should do. You should assess your lemons. Pick them up, look at them, your trials. Take them and look at them. Examine them. Find out what it is, and what it offers for you, what it can do for you. Here's one thing that your lemons can do for you. They can make you more thoughtful in prayer. They can make you more thoughtful because you allow God to inspect your life. Verse 153. Consider mine affliction and deliver me, for I do not forget thy law. The psalmist is opening himself up to God's examination. Now, God looks at everything about you all the time anyway, but a wonderful thing it is for you and me to agree in our mindset with what God's going to do, and just opening ourselves up to him, saying, in our own attitude, we're going to be honest and forthright before God. People get the very silly idea that we can hide things from God, that we can do things or say things or even think things that God's not going to know about. That's so crazy. It's not true at all. God knows every bit of all the things about you and me. He knows all the things that you and I have forgotten. God knows it from the beginning and to the end and all that's in between and all of it. So the psalmist is just saying, Lord, I want to be honest and I want to open myself up to your inspection. Consider mine affliction and deliver me, for I do not forget thy law. And then he wants to open himself up to God's intervention in his life. Because he says in the next verse, plead my cause and deliver me. Quicken me according to thy word. Here are some of those 70 prayer requests that the psalmist has in this psalm. You know, he's asking God to intervene for him. So what can your lemons do for you? They can make you more thoughtful as you pray. They can also make you more thankful when you pray. Next verse says, salvation is far from the wicked, for they seek not thy statutes. You look at the rest of the folks around you. I'm thinking about the unsaved people who inhabit your life. And you think about the life that they live versus the life that God has given to you. And you understand why this psalmist can be thankful that God has blessed him so. It's nothing that he deserves any more than any of those lost people have deserved. It's not that he's a better person or that he has somehow achieved and earned some place before God that they haven't done. No, he's talking about the grace of God and the mercy of God. Salvation is far from the wicked, for they seek not thy statutes. He's recognizing and expressing thankfulness that he's saved, that he is not like he doesn't have the light. I want to be careful here because there's a Pharisee who prayed, God, I thank thee that I'm not as other men are. That's not this at all. But this man is expressing gratitude for God's grace that has saved him, that has made him different. And he knows he doesn't deserve it. He knows that there's nothing there. And so he says in verse 155, salvation is far from the wicked, for they seek not thy statutes. And he recognizes how he is different than that, not because of who he is or what he's done, but because of the God who loves him. So your lemons can make you more thoughtful when you pray. Thinking about other people, thinking about your own condition, thinking about who God is, especially being wrapped up in the grace and goodness of God. And second, they can make you more thankful. And third, they can make you more tender. Notice the next verse, 156. Great are thy tender mercies, O Lord. Quicken me according to thy judgment. He sees God in his tenderness towards him. And he asks him for the reviving of his life that he wants. He says, Lord, you are so tender to me. Lord, I want you to make me a tender man. I want you to make me moldable in my heart to the things of God. Able for you to change and twist and do whatever work you need to do there. Your lemons are your trials, what we're talking about. Your trials can be a great thing for your life if you look at them correctly. Assess them. Assess your lemons. Let them make you more thoughtful and more thankful and more tender as you go to him and as you look at others and live for the Lord. So number one, assess your lemons. Number two, address your lemons. That is, get involved with it. Speak to them because they make me live bolder. I need to get as close to, I need to not run away from my trials and troubles. I need to embrace them. Many are my persecutors and my enemies, yet do I not decline from thy testimonies. He says, I've got a lot of folks who are against me, but I know God who is for me, and that makes me bold and strong in the Lord. They also make me see better. He says, I beheld the transgressors and was grieved. What is it that makes you look at people who hate you and persecute you, say all sorts of evil against you falsely for Jesus' sake? What makes you look at these kind of people and grieves your heart that they are how they are? Makes you want to pray for them? Makes you want to see God turn their lives and see God save them? I mean, I think about right now political leaders who seem in a vehement kind of way, seem to have their minds and hearts set against God. I'm thinking about religious leaders, so-called religious leaders, whose minds and heart are set totally against the ways of God, the things declared in his Bible. I'm thinking about entertainers, sports figures, so many other people out in the spotlight of the world whose life is lived, as far as we can tell, leaving God out and departing from his truth as far as they can. And so, he says about that, I beheld the transgressors and was grieved because they kept not thy word. He's grieved for them, and he's grieved for the things that they are missing out on. He's grieved for what is happening in the world that he's living in. I hope you are. You know, assess your lemons, see how they can be, and then address your lemons. Draw them near and interact. Get bold with it, and learn to see better because of them. And then number 3, appreciate your lemons, because they can make you more devoted. Next verse says, consider how I love thy precepts. Quicken me, O Lord, according to thy loving kindness. Consider how I love thy precepts. All these troubles that he's gone through, he's wanting God to use these trials to draw him closer to the Lord, to make him more devoted. Consider how I love thy precepts. Quicken me, O Lord, according to thy loving kindness. Help me to love you better, Lord. Help me to see you more. Help me to honor and praise you more. And then not only do they make me more devoted, they can help me to be more discerning. They help me to understand truth in a better way. The last verse says, thy word is true from the beginning, and every one of thy righteous judgments endureth forever. The truth of the matter is, and this is like the second time this idea has come up in this section, that the trials of life, as we behold God and his word in them the way we should, will help us to see better, see clearer, discern and understand better the kind of things that are really going on in life, and be able to appreciate what God is doing for us. Listen to it one more time. Thy word is true from the beginning, and every one of thy righteous judgments endureth forever. We understand what's eternal. We understand what is just passing away. And we see our lives and we see ourselves in the hands of a gracious and loving God. You know, as the next to last verse talks about God's loving kindness. You know, when you and I grab hold of the truths of God in our hearts, then we're able to appreciate, we're able to assess, look at our lemons and say, you know, God's doing some good things through these things. We're able to address them and get involved there and let those lemons be used for God, not run away from our troubles. And then we're able to appreciate them for what God can do in using those for his glory and to make us better, to get us into a better place spiritually. So Deb and I want to sing again this afternoon, Jesus Never Fails. In our songbook, it's 274. So go ahead over there and find 274, and let me. This is the last time today. I'll ask you, find another one of those songs you want us to sing Saturday, and then put it in the comment section, and we will sing that as our 4th song. So whatever song comes up next, that's going to be our 4th song. Jesus Never Fails.
Never fails. Heaven and earth
truth. Thank you for your faithfulness. Thank you for your unchanging ways. And Lord, even in the midst of the tough things we go through, Lord, as you lead us, as we follow you, as your word becomes the treasure that it should be in our lives, Lord, even in these tough things, you're teaching us, and we're learning how you can use those things for our good, but Lord, most important, for your glory. So help us today. Keep our eyes on you, and thank you for that. Bless us, your children. Bless our friends today. In Jesus' name, amen.